Welcome to your Around the Peninsula. I'm Senior Airman Brandy Durr. Soldiers in Korea are taking a course that you won't find in school. Senior Airman James Buehler shows us how they're getting hands-on training.
The Expert Infantryman Badge, or EIB, is presented for completion of a course of testing designed to demonstrate proficiency in infantry skills.
It's important for several reasons. First and foremost, as an individual soldier, no matter what their experience and skill level is, it's the best individual training that soldier is going to receive at one time.
Soldiers move from station to station, learning how to correct weapon malfunction,
Bang, misfire,
self-aid buddy care, and the importance of communication.
Echo 1-8, this is Echo 1-2, over.
Communications is important in every aspect of the Army because that's what makes us function. If you don't have communication, you have nothing. If the guys don't know how to talk on the radio, then when they get out to the battlefield, they're kind of lost because then that just puts you out there by yourself. You have to be able to talk back to somebody else. You have to be able to call for help. You have to be able to call for fire. You have to be able to let people know where you are.
So how does this help a soldier's career?
Say if you get it as a junior enlisted soldier like I did, it's going to help you. It's going to help progress you along. You're going to stand out from your peers that you're already an expert at your job, and so it's going to help throughout the majority of that soldier's career.
Senior Airman James Buehler.
Earning the Expert Infantryman Badge is a representation of a soldier's readiness to lead in combat. You never know what people have been through. Specialist Jordean Matthews tells us about a service member who shares his personal story about his troubled past.
The Victim Advocate's Office from the Camp Casey Army Community Service put together an event to help shed light on domestic violence. Over 20 people walked towards the West Casey Chapel, holding signs and lights alerting people passing by of the issues. Making a quick stop into the chapel, the participants enjoy music and poetry that addresses domestic violence.
I was affected by that as a child, so it's something that I wanted to get involved with and stop other males doing that. So that's the reason why I did it. And my mom was a victim of it, but now she's not anymore.
Like many others affected by domestic violence, getting help or finding a way to show how they feel isn't easy.
I've been going through a lot of things, and I have anger problems. So I feel like that writing poetry kind of expresses my feelings. It kind of calms me down. It's like a stress release.
Cold-hearted for the things my father did could only make me angry as a kid.
Just 20 years old, Private Thomas witnessed and endured enough to have a bad image of what a father shouldn't be. Thanks to one man stepping up and changing his outlook on life, Thomas now knows what a real man is.
I just want to thank my stepfather, for doing the things that he did and just raising me and becoming the man I am today. He's a real good father to me and my brothers and sisters, and I love him. I love him a lot. I really miss my family right now.
Being defiant, I wanted more of knocking on that door. Hearing my mom cry and asking my dad to stop was the worst sound a human could hear. Now these days, I sometimes close my eyes and wish it didn't appear.
Specialist Jordean Matthews, Camp Casey, Korea.
Victim advocates are available at your local Army Community Service office. Sometimes the smallest things can have the biggest impact. Senior Airman Schuler tells us how Osan Air Base keeps the mission running one small step at a time.
It could weigh less than an ounce, but it's worth more than gold. It's foreign object debris, or FOD, and it's the reason over 1,000 airmen are on the Osan flight line.
There are many dangers with FODs. Some of them, it's very difficult to understand if you've never seen an engine that has been damaged by FOD, but something as simple as a rock can cause $10,000 worth of damage, up to $300,000 worth of damage, and then hundreds of hours of labor.
Having hundreds of people help with a FOD walk minimizes issues down the road, but it also serves another purpose.
I think it helps bring into perspective some of the things that we do as maintainers for people who are not out on the flight line. For mechanics, we perform FOD walks every day, sometimes every shift, depending on what's going on. Definitely before we fly an aircraft, because it's that important.
Ultimately, FOD has the potential to ground planes. It is a constant threat, so it's important to make each and every FOD walk count. Senior Airman Schuler, Osan Air Base, Korea.
FOD walks are conducted on every flight line around the world, military and commercial. A trust fall involves closing your eyes, falling backwards, and believing your partner will catch you before you hit the ground. Airman First Class Michaud tells us who the pilots put their faith in every time they leave the ground.
Gonsalves Air Base recognized the dedicated crew chiefs in charge of ensuring the upkeep of the base's F-16s. Each dedicated crew chief spends more time with their jet on the ground than any other airman.
I call that jet my own. I get to be out there, get to be that go-to guy.
Colonel S. Clinton Highnote personally thanked the crew chiefs for their hard work on the aircraft, and the crew chiefs acknowledged the relationship with their jet is special.
Relationship is kind of like a girlfriend, kind of like your wife. You give her what she needs, you give her what she wants, and in return, she take care of you.
The dedicated crew chiefs received certificates from the pilots of the F-16s. Pilots trust crew chiefs with their lives every time they fly, and leads to the creation of a very special bond between them.
It's kind of like a big brother, little brother. We're the older guys, the older brother's fixing the jet, making sure it's good for them. And the little brother gets to take it up and fly it around, brings it back broke, and we got to fix it again just for them.
Each successful mission flown by an F-16 is another job well done for a dedicated crew chief. Airman First Class Michaud, Gonsalves Air Base, Korea.
For more information on dedicated crew chiefs, visit the af.mil website. You see the horror stories on television all the time, horrible crimes like personal assaults, carjackings, and robberies. It makes you wonder, what if that was me? Technical Sergeant Sasha Michaud answers that question.
One way or the other.
Today, Technical Sergeant Locke demonstrates how a very basic knowledge of martial arts sets the foundation for protecting yourself.
I would like for people to be able to use the exact skills and the ideas, the concepts that we're practicing here, and use it right when they step out the door. I hope they don't have that circumstance, but I really want to think about that every time I'm teaching a class.
Sergeant Locke has made self-defense instruction a major part of his life and really strives to make his classes simple but effective.
Sergeant Locke is a great instructor, really good. He really explains his techniques and stuff like that. I thought it went smooth, I thought it went great. I really enjoyed it.
Self-defense is a practical way to make sure you're covered if you're ever in a bad situation.
I've had students that have been in some very serious situations. I'm not happy that they were there, but I sure was, comforted in knowing that some of the things that I taught them actually helped to save their lives.
Sergeant Locke taught this self-defense class for the Women Inspiring Next Generations organization, or WINGS, and he's more than willing to teach for any group at Osan Air Base. Technical Sergeant Sasha Michaud, Osan Air Base, Korea.
Technical Sergeant Locke offers a variety of self-defense courses at Osan Air Base. The military is full of various job opportunities. One airman shares his story of how he achieved his dreams on becoming an A-10 pilot.
I'm Captain Gonsalves. I'm an A-10 pilot, and I'm stationed at Osan Air Base, Republic of Korea. As an A-10 pilot in Korea, my primary responsibility is to fly. So that's my primary job. That's the reason I'm here, is to be a pilot on the Rock in support of the Rock. I think that my profession, being a pilot, is one of the coolest things that you can do. But at the same time, we realize the severity of mistakes and the importance of our mission. So you flip the switch when you get in the jet, when you walk out to the jet. That moment happened for me on one of my first flights up at night, just south of the DMZ that we go into for our training missions. We paused the scenario and we looked out to the east and the west, and you can see almost coast to coast. You can see the lights all on the DMZ. And then he's like, look south. So I look south and you see Seoul, and it's almost blinding, especially when you're wearing NVGs, the night vision goggles. Mm-hmm. You look at Seoul and you're like, man, that's bright. And he says, look north. And you look north and it's just black. I mean, there was just absolute pitch black. No fires, no lights, nothing. So for me, that was the first time being over here. I was like, wow, there's some oppressed people living up there without a lot of the amenities that we take for granted on a daily basis here. And so I want to make sure that my time here as a deterrent essentially to the North Koreans, and then the hopeful end goal of a peaceful reunification of the peninsula, if I can play a small part of that, then that was the first time I was like, man, this is a pretty cool job.
That was your Around the Peninsula for Thursday, October 17th. From all of us at AFN, enjoy your evening.